Hello viewers, my name is Betul Sabanda and this is a Sunday Live podcast and today we're talking the game of cricket, the gentleman's game of cricket and I'm joined by the Zimbabwe national cricket team coach, that is Dave Houghton. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Well, Dave, you have been with this team for quite a few days now. How has been the experience?
Well, the practice facilities have been absolutely brilliant here at Queen's, and we've had some really good, hard-working days. So I think it's been a really worthwhile exercise. We've been down, I think we've probably had 6 full days of practice over a period of 10 days, so they're quite well rested in between as well. Weather's been great, and I love Bulawayo, so fantastic place to practice.
Dave, you've worked with the national cricket team before, and now you're back. What was in the 90s, and now you're back. What really excites you about coaching this bunch of lads?
Well, I was back here last year doing franchise cricket with the Mountaineers, so I had a good look all around the country at some of the cricketers, and I think the standard of cricket that we've got now far outstrips what we had back in the 90s. Back in the 90s we did have 1 or 2 good players, but the depth wasn't there that is here now. The depth of talent we had around the country, not just in the squad, is far higher than it's been for years. So it's an absolute privilege to be back coaching the country, but at the same time I really want to see what these guys can do when they play well.
Yeah, you know where we were before we came in. The team was going through a bad patch. Observing from afar, what was really going on?
It's quite hard to say because I didn't actually see anything. I was just looking at scorecards and speaking to individuals who had witnessed it. But I think one of the biggest problems is the guys play with too much fear of failure, fear of losing. When you play like that, you can't really access your true skills. What I've tried to do over the last 2 weeks is get that fear out of them completely. There will be no retributions when the guys make mistakes or play a bad shot or anything. We want to play good, positive, exciting cricket, and that's exactly how we're going to do it.
And the build up to this T20 qualifier out in Bulawayo, what areas have you been really working on? Looking at Afghanistan in today's series in Harare, what areas have you been really focusing on?
The positivity of the batting has been the biggest area of problem. Our bowling hasn't let us down in 30 years. Very seldom lose a game because we're not batting, generally because we haven't batted well. So we focused heavily on the batting side of things. We focused a lot on the positivity. In 2020 cricket, you can't really afford to back down for 2 or 3 overs and just block your way along the path. You've got to be challenging the boundary every over, and that's what I've been trying to do with our guys. Get positive. We need positive scores. We need the batsmen to put bowlers under pressure. That's been the main focus of this camp.
And we're playing lots of Jersey, Singapore, and the US in the group stage. How do you see Zimbabwe with you in charge?
Look, we've talked about nothing other than winning this tournament. We've won the group stages. We want to win this tournament. We're a full-blown test playing nation. We should be taking on these associate member sides and beating them thoroughly. I know that they've improved. They're better sides now than they have been 20, 30 years ago. But at the same time, we're a test-playing nation. We should be beating these guys easily, and that's what I expect from us.
So coming to the tournament, we can hold you to it. We'll be holding the trophy and going to Australia.
Well, I would hope so. Absolutely. That's the mission at the moment. We're not talking about anything else. So let's hope that's the case.
Well, a few days ago, I was looking at a picture of 99 World Cup with you as the captain, all the other captains from other countries. Lots of, there was no Ireland, there was no Afghanistan, there was no Scotland. What is really happened that we're now losing Afghanistan and starting to beat Scotland in Ireland?
Well, a lot of these teams, especially the associate member sides, they haven't sat back over the last 20, 30 years. They've tried to rebuild and build properly, and there's been a lot of imported players mainly from the subcontinent, have come into teams in Europe. Ireland have got a very good system themselves. They've got a first-class system there now as well. And they've got some good players, and a lot of the Irish players play in the English county. So that's where they get their experience from. The same has happened to Scotland. But when you look at the sides like we're playing against in this tournament, and you look at some of the names, I see people like Rusty Tarun playing for America. He was playing for South Africa a couple of years ago. Corey Anderson, who was playing for New Zealand 2 years ago, is playing for America now. So a lot of these countries have recruited, and they've got guys playing for them now who have actually learnt their cricket in other places. Afghanistan's a great story though. I mean, they have a very, very good cricket base. And they've come here and they've given us a bit of a hiding, which upset us a little bit. But if you look at Afghanistan, they're probably number 3 or 4 in the world in white ball cricket now. They're no longer the little minnows down the other end. They're actually worth their weight, and as I say, they can box with anybody.
Talking about players like Corey Anderson and Rajput, you've got good relations with Gary Balance and likes of Eddie Byrom out in the UK. People have been wondering whether you will try and convince them during your time as a coach to try and to come and play for Zimbabwe. And maybe shed light, you will know better. What's thought about Gary Balance? Is he to play for Zimbabwe in the near future? What's the situation there?
I think Gary is eligible. I think Eddie Byram's eligible. I think the rules are that you can play for your country of your birth 4 years after your last game for the country that you've adopted. So all of those guys are eligible. Only the 2 current would not be eligible because they play for England DC. I've spoken to them at times. I prefer them to make this, to start the conversation, because I think if we're going out there trying to hunt them back, I want them to come back because they want to play for the country. And I think the conversations I've had have been positive. I wouldn't say at the moment that there's any likelihood they'll be back with us soon, but you never can tell for the future.
What can you expect? What change can you see or expect to see with Dave Houghton in charge of this team?
Well, as I've said throughout this interview, the change I hope you will see is players playing without fear, a real positivity to our game. This doesn't mean that we will win every single game we play. We've got some tough games ahead of us, not just in the qualifiers, but after that we've got Bangladesh, India and Australia. We couldn't wish for harder games to play. So, we're going to lose a few along the way as well, but I want to see us play positive cricket and compete. And if we play like that, we're going to win a lot more than we lose.
And for you, was it an easy or tough decision to accept the job to come back and coach in this country?
It was a very easy decision. I've always wanted to put my time in the Zimbabwe cricket. If I wasn't here coaching the national team, I'd be back coaching the franchise side and continuing with the coach development programs and so on. So it was an easy decision for me, and as I say, I'm absolutely privileged to be back here. I never thought I'd come and coach my side again. I coached these guys back, 99, 2000. So 22 years later, I'm back doing it again.
Well, viewers, that was Coach Dave Houghton, the Zimbabwe senior men's cricket team coach. As we spoke about, he's coming back, and we are building up to the ICC Cricket World Cup qualifier out here at Queen's Sports Club and the Bulawayo Athletic Club. So fans out here in Bulawayo, please come in your numbers. The games are for free for most of the games. I think it's only the semis and the final that where you're required to pay something. But so let's come in our numbers and support Coach Dave and the rest of his team. Dave, and all the best, and thanks for your time.